Welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us today. All right, our guest today is David Kyrk, Managing Director, Rainstar Capital Corporation, rainstarcapitalgroup.com. David, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Michael. Thanks for having me.
All right, my pleasure. All right, you're in one of my favorite sectors. You help people, private equity companies, grow their businesses. You do something that's a little off the beaten path for me. That's why it's a real learning session for me. Let me back up. Give us some background on who David Kyrk is, what Rainstar Capital Group does, and then we'll walk into what you're seeing in your industry sector and how you're growing your business within that sector. How about that?
Absolutely. Real briefly, I've spent the last 31 years as an investment banking corporate consultant, working with small and medium-sized companies in preparing them to take on capital, whether it was equity or debt capital. I changed my affiliate, my focus of my practice, if you will, when I joined Rainstar Capital Group because of the robust relationships they had in their debt advisory platform, which allows me or us to provide debt capital for small and medium-sized businesses, either to acquire a new business, to grow their existing business, whether they need an operating line of credit, they need a mortgage on a facility, they need to be able to finance equipment of any type, whether it's a phone system, IT equipment, trucks, trailers, construction equipment, a very broad spectrum of companies that we work with.
All right, now you've got a great background, 30 years in the capital markets, United States, Caribbean, Central America, working with all different kinds of companies. So I know that you've got an in-depth knowledge of what you're doing. This money that you're working with for these companies to grow into, is it? Do you work with a portfolio of funds, or is it private equity within your own firm? How does that part work? Where's the money come from?
Certainly. Rainstar Capital Group is a private equity firm. Mm-hmm. However, its balance sheet, the investments are very focused on distressed consumer debt and non-performing note portfolios acquired in a number of different areas. The capital that we provide of the 210 or 11 primarily non-bank lenders that we place debt with on behalf of our client company. They can be hedge funds, private equity firms. Some of them are banks with very specific focuses, fintech firms, a broad range. Typically, I would say they're non-bank lenders that fill the niche. We primarily are building a bridge from where the company is today, right, so that they can become bankable for their local bank.
What kind of companies are you working with?
Retail, investment portfolio of commercial real estate, companies that have portfolios of residential real estate, IT firms that provide services for customers like AT&T, American Airlines, yogurt shops.
Okay, so that's a broad range right now.
Yes.
Very
broad range, which is what makes it so much fun.
Allow me to drill down just a little bit further. And what have you found to be the biggest needs companies have today?
Operating capital line of credit.
I get it. All right. When you use the term bankable, let's open that up for us. What does David Kyrk mean by bankable?
I can simplify it this way. Most banks where you have your depository checking account for your business would love to lend money to you as a customer of theirs. However, most banks also experience have a very narrow or small box of types of loans that they will do. Or you're growing so fast you've used up all that they're prepared to lend you, and you need to go find another source to continue to grow until you can season it and your cash flows catch up to where your local bank is comfortable with you again. In the real estate market, it may be until your rents have stabilized, for instance, and you have seasoned those investments after a period of 6 or 12 or 18 months.
What market sectors, if I may drill in here, and let's break it down. Where are you finding, if it was a heat map, the red zone, the hot zone that's starting to find their way to you?
Geographically or by market sector?
Both.
Okay. Geographically, I don't know that there would be a hot spot. Possibly the South and the Southeast is very strong geographically.
When you say the South, does that include Texas, or are you going east of? Okay.
Yeah. I would consider, or in my vision at this point of the comment I was making, yes, I would include Texas. Okay. Most definitely. Working with a number of companies actually currently in the Houston area. And they're continuing to try and get back to their normalcy after Harvey.
We've got about a minute and a half left. What types of companies are showing up at your door?
Construction companies.
Whoa.
Service companies in the restoration businesses, specifically in Texas.
Okay. What about infrastructure? Is that popping at all? Companies that supply the infrastructure chains that these big projects that the president is saying he's going to push forward on?
The construction equipment industry is starting to heat up in a big way.
Okay.
Yes.
You see that as a key? I usually see that as a key for continued growth in the economy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what you're finding guys that have been operating 10, 12, 14 pieces of yellow iron, and they need 2 or 3 more now as the requests for or the opportunities have increased significantly for them. And they're tapped out with their traditional lenders, and they're seeking out people like myself who can help them find or have relationships, I should say,
David,
with non-bank lenders.
David, we've got to end the show for now, but I want to thank you for being a guest on the show today. People can reach you at rainstarcapitalgroup.com, right?
That's correct. And you just put David in front of that, David at rainstarcapitalgroup.com.
Great. David, thanks for being a great guest for us, and we'll be sure and send you some people if we find them.
Thank you, Michael. Have a great day.
You're welcome. David Kyrk, Managing Director, rainstarcapital.com. You've been listening to CEO Money with Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for showing up.